Hi, I'm Michael Glass from MoveUpWithMike.com, where we're focusing on raising everybody's financial literacy. And before we begin our video, we want to talk about our disclosures. Any symbols that you see today should not be inferred as a trader recommendation. No matter what form of investing you choose, stock, forex, futures, options, they all have a lower risk associated with them. You can lose all your money. Any strategy we show today are for educational purposes only. Future results are not guaranteed. And finally, any investment decision you make is solely your own responsibility. You trade at your own risk. So this is our weekend wrap-up for Saturday, March 7th. And we're going to look at the calendar. We're going to look at some of the prior day's action in the S&P 500 and the industry leaders. We'll identify key support and resistance levels. We're going to look at gold and crude and see how they are affecting and how they're leading the market. And we have an education spotlight at the end. With that said, let's pull up the charts. So here we are looking at the S&P 500 on a daily chart, and if you recall from last week, we drew in this support or resistance line put in here in February, and of course we drew our support in here, and then we expanded out to our monthly, weekly charts and came up with this resistance line, and that was here. And you can see right here on Monday we went right up, tested that resistance line. Went right up and tested it and pulled right on back. And we talked about last week that our leading stocks that we'll look at in a moment were all weaker than what the market is. As the market was putting in new highs, the leading stocks were not. And so to be cautious about that. And then we pulled right on down, sort of trying to find support here at the 20 exponential moving average on the daily chart. We do have our inverted hammer here. You can see the market did try. We did have better than expected non-farm payroll yesterday, and so the market went up. And then about noon, we had the Greece Euro debate. It's sort of a game of poker where Greece says, "Give us more money, or don't make us pay us back, or we'll leave." And the euro saying, if you don't make more cuts, we're going to make you pay us back. So, and not give you more time. So it's sort of our poker, who's going to win. So Greece talked about leaving the eurozone, and that's kind of what began the push down here for the second half of the day. So where does that leave us? Well, one thing we should do, just as we zoomed in here, we should come over here and grab our trend line, and let's see if this also gives us anything here. We'll see. Not really. So there definitely is more room to go to get down to the 50 moving average here on the daily. So there certainly is room to go down. Now, when we look at our indicators, we can see that our MACD is kind of heading down. RSI is in the middle, but so they're really not giving us anything to really go off of. Let's zoom out and look at a larger time frame. On our weekly time frame, we can see where we came up with our resistance line here at 1375, and of course we failed right there. And this was our next target if we were to break higher, which we did not. And if we go out a little bit further onto the monthly, we can get another view. So obviously we are in a great uptrend. We're pulling back. The question is, how far are we going to pull back? On a daily, we can zoom in and see we've got the 20 and the 50 that we're messing with, and we also have an uptrend line, and there's room for us to fall back for that. What's important is our, longer term support down here at 1300. Will we come all the way down here? And if we do that, then next we have to start looking at 1275 and 1250-ish. Let's take a look at our industry leaders. Okay, starting off with Apple, we talked about the downturn last time, and it seems to be holding up. Another thing we can notice is that if you look where all these wicks are and where we seem to be holding up, you can make an argument that we're at a support level. Somewhere in here. And so what that forms is a descending wedge. which has to resolve itself one way or the other. Got the 20 and 50 also acting as support, but if we break that on the daily, we can see we come down to 340 or even 330. If we come over here to market profile, you can see once we break 345, we are in the light volume range, and we easily could fall all the way down to 339 or even 335, where the volume starts to really pick back up. Next is Amazon. And Amazon had that earnings last week, and the good news is it is still holding up from those earnings, but it's also looking at one of those flag patterns where we have our move up. Oops. Let me zoom in one more time here. There we go. So we got this going on, then we got this coming down here. Again, needs to resolve itself one way or the other. Be great if you resolve itself to the upside, so you might trade above the wicks here, or if it's going to trade below 195 to the downside and maybe feel all of this move coming in. When we come over here and we look at 195, there is still some volume support in it. We don't lose that volume support until 192, and once we get to 192, you see we can drop all the way down to 185. Goldman Sachs. Banks lead the market, and you can see it's kind of holding here at 150. Another descending wedge pattern going on here, and so if it breaks 150, what could happen? Let's come over here, look at our market profile, and there's a ton of volume in here, so it's probably going to hold here for a while. But if it breaks here, there's room for it to run down. But you can see all the volume here around plus or minus 2 of 150. Google. Google has the big gap down, and now we're kind of resolving in here. A little bit up here. And there's almost an ascending wedge, trying to. And of course, if you look at the market profile on the hourly, you can see there's nothing going on here because of that big gap. And so if we do get above 547, we should be able to move up through that because there is no volume there to resist us. Netflix. Netflix is holding on to the 50 moving average as support, but we can see the weakness. I guess if there's a theme that we need to hold on here to, and on the hourly we see 228 as the bottom of our value area. If there's a theme here, is that besides Amazon, there's a lot of weakness in our industry leaders, kind of implying that once again, yes, there may be a little bit more move to the downside. As we move on to our education portion, we have insanity in the definition, repeating the same action over and over, expecting different results. And I often talk about this, that people in life keep doing the same thing, expecting a different reaction. As traders, they get on Google and they search for technical indicators, they search for trading systems, and they keep searching for these holy grail magical systems that's going to unleash the inner super trader. And yet what they're not realizing is that they're continuing this path of insanity. The true path to becoming a successful trader, as laid out by Dr. Ben Tharp in Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom, is dealing with the internal battle of profits and losses. And that is not going to be found on Google. It's not going to be found in some trading system. You have to develop that trader's mindset, that internal solitude, that psychological capital to trade the best way that you know how to trade, and more importantly, the best trading system, trading style that matches who you are as a trader. Trading like somebody else is the definition of sanity. Trading like who you are is putting you on the right path to success. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Check us out. Get all of our latest blog posts and videos. You know about our free 5-part video course at michaelglass.com. Free video. It's all about developing a high probability trading setups. We got a great Trader's Mindset video package with free PDFs and a free copy of Mental Fitness for Traders. Our mentorship, again, developing that trader's mindset. We're still here for you. Come check us out. 20 free trades if you sign up with Global Futures. They're both futures and Forex. And we got a great charting package for you that works on both PCs and Macs. In the end, doesn't matter how much you spend on your trading system, what new indicator you find on Google, at the end of the day, you don't pull the trigger. And so you have to develop the trader's mindset to find out who you are as a trader and trade that. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time.